welcome. Convening the Staff Hearing Officer meeting of July 24th, 2024. We will begin with preliminary matters. Ms. Gu, do we have any requests for continuances, withdrawals, postponements, or addition of ex-agenda items?
Okay. To my knowledge, no, we do not have any requests at all. Thank you.
Very good. And for announcements and appeals, do we have any appeals?
No, we don't have any appeals other than the announcement for today.
Yes. So the announcement for today, both of the items today are for projects at 3333 Braemar Drive. The first is a coastal development permit, and this is for an accessory dwelling unit on this property. These projects are just announced at Staff Hearing Officer. There's no public hearing for these projects. There is an opportunity, though, for written public comment, and I didn't receive any. Ms. Gu, can you confirm that we did not receive any comments?
No, we did not receive anything for this announcement today, and I don't see anyone on Zoom.
Okay, thank you to the applicant for your application package and our planner, Ms. Garson. I do approve this project. I concur with the findings in the staff report. The approval of the project is subject to the conditions, the draft conditions that were included in the staff report. And that's the final decision of the city on that accessory dwelling unit portion. So the second item is, sorry, before we get to that, there is general public comment. Ms. Gu, any comments from members of the public pertaining to items not on this agenda?
No, we did not receive any general public comment.
And is anyone monitoring on Zoom? Does anyone have their hands up?
Upon checking Zoom, there's no one with any hands up. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. So moving on to item 2, also the same address, Ms. Holly Garson, Assistant Planner, will be presenting this project. And Ms. Go, if you could switch to Ms. Garson's computer, thank you.
Sorry, I thought this was already up. I should have checked it first.
It was on the desktop.
Yeah, okay. I was logging in as myself. Is that not right? Usually it's okay. I can log in as you, but you'd have to put your password in. Do you want to do that?
Ms. Gu, if you could switch to the other computer, we can just run off this quickly. I think it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, well, I can give you the mouse.
Okay. That works. Sorry about that. Okay. This will be fun.
Thanks for your patience, and the plans are up now, and Ms. Garson will take us through.
Where's the hand? This is different than mine. Okay, I'll just make it work. Okay. Apologies for the delay. Thank you, Mr. Golett. Holly Garson, Assistant Planner with Planning and Zoning, and I will be giving this staff presentation today. Bear with me.
And Ms. Garson, while you do, there are 3 different applications on this property. If you could describe those briefly and then focus on the
Sure.
modification.
We have, there is a planning application that's previously been entitled for a primary residence on the site, as well as a detached 4-car garage. And then there is a separate application in for a ADU that was just approved here today. And then this application is for the new horse barn and associated water tank. So as stated, the land use decision before the staff hearing officer today is for an accessory floor area zoning modification to allow the total aggregate floor area to exceed the 500 square feet allowed for the site. Here's the general location. It's 333 Braemar Drive, so it's above Cliff Drive, sort of in the Campanile neighborhood area. Moving to some site photos. So then, okay. Can I use this still? No.
Oh, not that.
Okay. Okay. So we have some site photos that show the lot in the immediate neighborhood. And you can see that these are all sizable lots. They're 1 acre or more, which is considered large for the city of Santa Barbara. You can see they're heavily vegetated. Some of the lots have corrals existing. You can see, various accessory structures scattered throughout the immediate neighborhood. Here are site photos specifically of this site. You can see that it's relatively flat. There's a 6% average slope here. It's zoned A1 for one-family residence. It's in the city's coastal zone non-appeals jurisdiction. These photos, they're a little bit outdated because, as we mentioned previously, the residence is already under construction, but this is the general location of the residence. Here would be the detached garage with ADU above. And you can see the existing barn and shed. So the new horse barn and water tank are in this location. Taking a look at the top of this sheet, here's a rendering, just general rendering as the project would appear fully constructed. And this is as viewed from Braemar Drive. If you're standing looking onto the site, here's the existing or primary residence. Again, the garage, the ADU, the horse barn, and water tank. So just to note here, the horse barn and water tank are, largely blocked by the structures as seen from the public right-of-way. We have a site plan. Again, residence, garage ADU, horse barn, water tank. The existing site also has a corral and toward the rear, a pool to remain, landscaping throughout, fencing, hardscape, that all remains. And the site conforms to zoning as far as setbacks, encroachments, and all other municipal code provisions. Let's go up here. Again, the existing barn and shed, forgive me. So the project does propose to demolish that existing 550 square foot horse barn and the 113 square foot shed and construct a new 1,063 square foot horse barn and 113 square foot water tank. Moving down to the partial site plan. These dashed lines here that are sort of faint, that indicates where the existing shed is, the footprint, and the existing barn. So you can see that it's generally going in the same location. The footprint impact is not changing there. Here's the floor plan for the horse barn. First floor consists of a breezeway. You can walk in and out on either side, a workshop, tack room, and then the 2 horse stalls here. And just above is a partial second story lofted storage area. Here are the elevations for the barn and water tank. And the project was reviewed twice by the Single Family Design Board under a preliminary application case and then under a formal planning application. And each time the board was supportive of the size, bulk, and scale of the structures and the architecture because they noted it is compatible with the primary residence and the ADU. The board specifically was supportive aesthetically of the square footage of the barn due to the large lot size and compatibility with neighboring properties and associated structures on the existing property. The board, they did encourage landscape screening of the water tank, so the project will return to the single-family design board if approved by the staff hearing officer. Back to the site plan, and just in closing, again, the request is to allow the barn and water tank to exceed the allowable 500 square footage for detached accessory square footage on site. Planning staff was supportive of the request. It should be noted that the detached garage and the ADU are allowed per other municipal code provisions, so they don't count toward the 500 square feet allowable. Just, in general, horses they're large animals, so they need some space. The barn and tank are essentially replacing what's existing, so there's not a big change as far as perceived development on site. The size, bulk, and scale impacts are relatively the same to the site and to the neighbors. The barn is sited a considerable distance from all lot lines and from the existing primary residence. Other lots in the area accommodate animal keeping and have accessory structures on site as well. And I understand that this is the property owner's dream home, so I assume they would want the same for their animals as well. So this concludes the staff presentation, and I'm around for questions if needed. Thank you.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Ms. Garson. Would the applicant like to comment on this project as well? Yeah, if you could come up and introduce yourself. We can have the plans available for you too.
So use these two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just take your seat.
Yeah.
Stop there. Thank you very much, Mr. Gullett and Ms. Garson. I'm Shelby Jenke with SEPS, agent for the property owner. I'll keep this brief because I think Ms. Garson really hit all of the main points and presented this well. As she said, this is the owner's dream home, and we want to give them the same for their horses as well. We feel that the project is justified for the property as the horse keeping use already does exist on the site, as well as in adjacent properties and in the surrounding neighborhood. And this project is going to allow for a nicer home for the horses, accommodate space that they need. The existing horse barn on site has served its purpose and is reaching the end of its life and is in need of replacement with a new structure. And as Ms. Garson noted, the new horse barn will have really the same footprint as the existing and gains that extra square footage that we're asking for through this second-story loft space for storage, for different materials for the horses. And as the horse barn is really located at the middle rear of the property, it's not going to be very visible and will have minimal impact from the street. I'll note a design alternative that was considered was a prefabricated kit barn. It was explored, but it was later dismissed as it really had no character. The site itself is, it's just over an acre. It felt large enough to accommodate a structure that reads as a nice, small, quaint outbuilding. And this barn is functional, but will be, attractive with its detailing, and there will be landscaping around it to conceal it. And then the last thing that I will just note is it's worthwhile to note that while, we're all aware Title 30 has not been approved and adopted in the coastal zone, if and when it is adopted in the coastal zone, a modification would not necessarily be required to allow this, as amendments to Title 30 allowed much larger accessory structures based on the lot size. And I think that's it. We really appreciate your time reviewing this modification application.
Very good. Thank you. And we don't have anyone in attendance at 630 Garden Street. Ms. Gu, is there any public comment on Zoom?
On Zoom, on checking Zoom, I do not see any raised hands or attendees. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you all. So I do agree with the findings in the staff report, and Single-family design board comments that this is a compatible building with the neighborhood. It is a unique neighborhood where we do have these uses. And if I recall correctly, the A zones were for agriculture, and it's a very large parcel. As Ms. Janke said, we are looking to amend our coastal zoning ordinance to allow more accessory space for uses such as this. As it stands right now, every lot gets a maximum of 500 square feet, regardless of how big the lot is. So I agree with the CEQA findings. I agree that the modification is an appropriate improvement for this property and approve this project. So if I could.
Is this one yours?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, moving back to the PowerPoint. So this decision is appealable. If I can find the slide, I can tell you more about it. This decision is appealable to the Planning Commission. For information on that, please contact planning staff at the phone number on the slide. Appeals may be filed in person at 630 Garden Street or by email within 10 calendar days of this meeting. So with that, I'll conclude the meeting. And it is adjourned. Thank you.